Hello, Bayport-Blue Point community. My name is Frank Giebfried. I'm a director at large for the Bayport-Blue Point Heritage Association. I'm a docent at Meadowcroft, and I've also had the honor of taking over the Summer Solstice Walking Tours for Gene Horton, who unfortunately, as we know, passed away last September. So I consider that a great honor to take that over and try to walk in the footsteps of Mr. Blue Points himself. I've been asked by Wendy to answer some questions, so I'll try my best. One of the first questions is, what is my favorite bit of Bayport Blue Point history? And my favorite bit actually has to do with Gene. My favorite building in Bayport and Blue Point is Ma Moon's restaurant. It still exists. It's kind of across the street from the Howes building, which was where Bud and Sis had Country Junk. And it's one of my favorite places because it's the first place that I got to work on some research with Gene. He included in his most recent book, and which is right here. So this book right here, I hope you have it. If not, you need to get a copy. And he and I did a little research on that together. And I found some great photos online, some old photos, which I'll show you here. Okay, it's kind of hard with the glare. I'm sorry about that. But what I think is really cool is if you look over here, you'll see the old gas pump out front, and they're all kinds of interesting signs on the building. I also found an interior shot, which Gene used in the book, and it's just fantastic to see what these places of old really looked like, and imagine going back there. So that's my favorite little piece of Blue Point Bayport history right there. Another question is, what's a common misconception about Bayport Blue Point's history? Well, I have to tell you that I'm a carpetbagger. I've only been here for about 10 years. But when we first moved here, we couldn't figure out why the Bayport Heritage, now the Bayport Blue Point Heritage Association, but at the time, the Bayport Heritage Association ran Meadowcroft, which is in Sayville. And of course, we also were wondering why the Sayville Yacht Club was in Blue Point. Well, you'll have to ask the Sayville Yacht Club people. For that, I don't want to steal their thunder. And if you want to find out why the Bayport Blue Point Heritage runs Meadowcroft, you can come for a tour when we open up, hopefully for this season. All right, but that's always like a little bit of a strange thing for people who first move here. If you haven't been here for a while, you don't understand the history of that. Another question was, what have I personally taken away from all these years being involved with the heritage? Easily to answer that would be the friendships of the people on the board, the general members. I've made lifelong friends, and it's, meeting people like Gene Horton, another person who comes to mind. There's so many people who I've met over the years who to me are like royalty, but the person I always think of is Flo Olson, of course, originally Florence Shand, whose father, Arthur, owned Shand's over on Middle Road. So meeting her, and some of these other people who you read about in books before you move here, when you first move in, that's a pretty cool thing. And to call these people your friends is wonderful. Next question is, has the virus affected the restoration and operations at Meadowcroft? Well, it hasn't affected the restoration, I'm happy to say. The restoration continues. Over the winter, we put period wallpaper into the master bedroom, and it looks spectacular. We are also currently restoring the vintage lighting. So all the lighting that isn't period appropriate is going to be replaced with lighting from about the 1900s, and that'll probably be ready for next year. We've also been able to, before all the virus problems broke out, we were also able to restore 2 of the guest rooms in the back. So the transformation of Meadowcroft continues. Hopefully we'll be open for the season, hopefully a good chunk of the season too, and you can come down and see it. And I promise you, you will be impressed. If you've seen it before, even if you haven't seen it before, you're gonna be impressed. But if you've seen it before and you remember what it looked like, the new wallpaper and the new rooms are just spectacular. And every year, the board tries to make improvements to that. And to that end, our president, Mary Bailey, should be filming a video to show you some of the updates that we've done. And remember, video won't do it justice, so you still have to come and see us this summer for a tour. The last question I have is, with social distancing, how are you passing your time and staying sane? Well, of course, I'm reading and rereading great books like this. By the way, if you want any of Jean's books, Jean and Eric were nice enough to donate all of Jean's books to the Heritage, so we will have those for sale. So I've been reading a lot and walking around a lot like everybody else has, as you can see if you look out your window. The final thing I'd like to say is the Summer Solstice Tour is on the summer solstice. I hope we'll be there for the tour. I will be meeting actually down at the dock, Blue Point Avenue dock, and we'll be walking our way up Blue Point Avenue. So I hope you can come for that tour and remember Jean with me, and we'll have a great time, okay? I hope everybody's safe and have a great day.